my jam. All right, so this is episode 1 of new Thugjitsu podcast, and we're going with we can't even get this thing together yet. It's sup, fam. So, want to introduce my man. I don't even need to introduce him. So you guys know who this is. This is the Diamond Dustin Poirier, world champion. That's why we got these belts in the background. But
yeah, man.
This has been a fun ride. It's been a fun ride getting to know you. It's been a fun ride watching you. That's been a fun ride watching you be a dad. It's been a fun ride being your friend. And we were talking about this on the ride over here. We went to breakfast this morning. We trained yesterday. And I don't know. What's up? We got to catch up.
I appreciate you jumping straight out of the car, straight into the gym, running to practice, dude, because that was I know it was like a 4-hour drive from Houston to here. And we were waiting on you.
Man, yeah, we hit some traffic. And then on top of that, like I was on the phone with Leia, and you were like, I was looking at my text. Oh, no, the car read it to me. It was like, and you're running practice, okay? And I was like.
Yeah, you didn't message me back.
I was like, I didn't know I was like, I don't have a plan. I'm not in shape. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then, I don't know, it just happened. So I hope you picked up something.
Nah, it was dope, man. Thank you so much. I actually took some notes when we got back from my house last night. I keep a little log of info that I always reference back to. Even if I'm in camp, I'll go look through it and say, like, oh, yeah, this sweep that I had learned, and I need to try it. You know, just simple things like little pointers or cliff notes here and there through training. Or like if an arm bar is not working and something simple tweak I'll write down that when I learn something, and I always go back to it, and it just kind of refreshes my memory. So last night I got to write some stuff down, so thank you for that.
Okay.
And I appreciate you, like I said, jumping out the car and running practice, because guy like it was me, Tyreek, Eric Scallon, we always train together here in Lafayette, and if I run practice, it's great. If Eric runs practice, it's great, but he runs a gym, and it's always kind of like a similar practice.
Yeah. So
having a new mind or just a completely different way of running practice, and me being a student 100%, because like when Eric's running it, we're kind of both helping out the other guys on the mat, you know.
Yeah.
But to just take instruction, it feels good.
And then just work. It's kind of like, I know what you mean, because when you're on your own and you kind of have to, you're not really learning anything. Yeah, you kind of fine tuning technique and whatnot, but
you're exploring positions that you already know, kind of.
Yeah. And so it's a little not uncomfortable, but it's you can grow, but like when somebody else is coming in and bringing in something new or something a little different.
Yeah. I want to be a student. I want you to tell me what to do, and I want to try something new, and then you tweak it or tell me, hey, no, do it, try it this way, and I want some instruction. I want to be a student and be told what to do, and that's fun.
That's a good way to make old people feel useful. Yeah. I felt useful. I was like, I came in there thinking, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. Like he knows how to fight. He's a world champion. Like, what am I gonna? And I know that's not the only thing about fighting and learning stuff. But I was just like, I have no idea what I'm gonna show him. And then it's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And you just kind of fall into something. There's always something.
Yeah.
There's always something in the fight game. It's like, I like that. It's like, I wish I was a Highlander, because it doesn't matter how long you live, you still get better. You still can learn.
Right.
You know, especially mixed martial arts. I mean, in boxing, if you're just boxing, you could still get better 20 years in the game.
You have to. Right? If you're going to stay relevant, you have to. Yeah. You have to keep evolving.
And then there's so much about mixed martial arts. Right. There's the wrestling, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, like all, and then putting those things together. That's why individually those things are different sports, and when you put them all together, MMA is it's its own thing.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Fighting's cool.
Fighting's fun. Like what?
It's crazy.
Like, I don't know. Like for me,
we wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for fighting.
Right?
Yeah.
We wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for fighting. We wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for Tim Crater.
The friendships and the things you go learn and pick up along the way of your fight journey is pretty crazy. You know, my whole life is built around that. Everybody I know, every business opportunity I've had, everything is through fighting some way or another.
That's what I used to tell my ex-wife. It was like, everybody I know is because of fighting. Like, I either met them in the gym, met them at fights, or I met them because of fighting. But until I retired, 100% of my friends were through fighting. I still think like a high 90s in the percentage area is through fighting. Right. Everybody that I know.
Well, even though you don't fight anymore, you're part of fighting. That's what you do for a living.
Right.
You're on a broadcast team and traveling with the PFL and stuff like that. So it's still that.
It's like the only people I don't know because of fighting are like my blood relatives.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's legit it. And we're talking about blood relatives. That's why I came down here. My granddaughter, man. Like, okay,
The
so
grandpa.
I'm a granddad. I love it.
Yeah.
But like when Parker was born, your daughter, I came down and I helped you with a couple camps, and I was still fighting. I believe I still had like a fight or two in me, and was hanging out with Parker, and when she was a baby, like she's so big now. She's got all this personality. She loves to talk.
Yeah.
I love listening to her. I love how she loves her parents. She's like, oh, last night when I was coming downstairs. No, this morning when I was coming downstairs, I had to use the restroom. So I came downstairs to do that. And as I'm tiptoeing by her bedroom, I hear her, Mom? And I didn't say anything. I didn't want to react because I was like, it's not your mom. I don't want
Don't scare her, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
But like she's 2. She's not even 3 yet. And then it was like she didn't get a response. She heard some creaking and then nothing. In my mind, I see her in the room just like, oh, I guess it wasn't Mom. So I'm going to either go back to sleep or I'm going to lay. You know, little kids, sometimes they're awake and they just lay there playing with their hands or looking around, just imagining things. So I don't know. I feel like that's really mature because like you got a nice place and your daughter's upstairs, you're downstairs, and she's not afraid to be alone, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. At 2 years old, why is that? Why is she so comfortable by herself?
I don't know, but she knows that the monitor that we see through the monitor, we talk back and forth to her, so she feels like we're always in the room with her. You know.
Okay.
I think that's part of it, and my wife always tells her you're safe in your house because like if she watches something on TV and she said it's scary like dinosaurs or a ghost or something, when she goes back to her room or if she would say I'm scared or something or I don't want to stay by myself, we would always say like my wife would always tell her you're safe in your house. You're safe in your house. So like I can hear her telling her toys and stuff that you're safe here. You're safe in your house. So she's like, I don't know if it's ingrained or whatnot. She just feels safe in her room.
And she's a lot of fun. I can't wait. So it's like my granddaughter's 8 months, and I believe that's kind of
Dude, she'll be walking. I'm pretty sure in a couple months.
She's standing.
Girls start walking earlier.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. I remember when Parker couldn't walk, couldn't sit up on her own, and then I left. I think I was still fighting, and then I came back, and she was like standing. She was like pulling herself up, and that's where my granddaughter is. She's pulling herself up, and it's cool to see them grow. I forget what that's like. My daughter's 25, my son's 16, so like it's been at least a decade and a half since I've seen that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it again, especially with my granddaughter. I get to spoil her, you know. I get to do whatever. I get to here. You ever had Coke before? Drink this.
Yeah.
She you have a Mountain Dew? Drink this, and then it's like
The people listening, if you could have saw his face lighting up last night, showing me videos on his phone of his granddaughter. Yeah, you can tell.
Hey.
I mean, it's a big deal.
It's huge.
Like we were saying, the lineage of Eve is like one day she's gonna have kids.
No,
and
she's never having sex.
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
She's gonna adopt some children. No, I'm not gonna be that. I'm not gonna be that guy. But yeah, like I don't want. When one day when she has kids, like I'm gonna be really old.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I want to be really old. She her great grandmother is alive. You know, I have pictures of her with her great grandmother. So like, hopefully, my grandmother sticks around long enough for Jessie, my granddaughter, to remember her, to like have some interactions with her that she could remember. But if she doesn't, at least we have those pictures, you know, and that's like 5 generations, man.
Dude, nowadays too, everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has memories and stuff moments are going to be captured so much more. You remember like when I was young, I remember watching VHS tapes, like somebody had a video recorder and it was all tracking, it was all staticky and stuff like that. We had like these home videos. Yeah, home videos of like family reunion or something. Now everybody has videos throughout their whole life, you know,
in their pocket.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
cool for the future.
That's one thing that I not just a video, but I did this kind of thing with my son a long time ago. I don't know if I told you about this, but we sat down. I had a little microphone. The setup wasn't anything like this, but we had a little microphone. We just recorded a conversation, You know,
I think you did tell me about this.
he was probably like 7.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun because like we'll always have that. He'll always have that. Once I'm gone, you know, he'll have that. We were talking about my dad, and he never got to meet my dad. My dad died when I was 12, but I told him some stories about that, and he will have that for his kids to know about their granddad. You know.
Your dad was a limbo champion.
My dad was a limbo dancer. He was.
Yeah.
My dad was the shit, man.
How low can you go?
To the floor.
Yeah.
No. I wonder if I don't know. I'm gonna ask my buddy Squid if he can superimpose this over this video. But this video of my dad, like he's literally going under a bar that this high and on fire, spinning 2 trays that's on fire. You know, and breathing fire into it. So that's cool. So like
for people who don't know, limbo is a big thing in the Bahamas.
yeah, it's a big thing to entertain the tourists, because tourism is the #1 industry in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And my dad started doing that when he was 16. You know, he used to he was a busboy at a club, a drum beat club, and there was this guy, I can't remember his name. Deacon Wiley was like this limbo dancer, and he used to do these spinning trays, and my dad started like he was doing that too and showing him, and then he started doing the limbo, and then he became the greatest. Like my dad was the man. He did that for like a lot of people. He did that like for Queen Elizabeth. He did it for Nelson Mandela. He did it whenever.
That's huge.
Yeah, whenever like diplomats would come to the Bahamas and they wanted to entertain them, they would pay my dad. My dad was about that, but he's about his money too. He's like, you know, when if the money's right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So it's one thing that I feel like I missed, that I'm like, as an adult, it took me a while to understand how to just like demand what's mine, you know, for money. I like you know how to do that. You know how to recognize your value and just be like, no, this is what I'm worth, and this is what you're gonna pay me. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's important too, man, for young fighters, but not just fighters, for young people. The way the world is, it's weird.
Yeah, you got to know your worth and believe in yourself and see what's out there. But in the fighting terms, I mean, the way the landscape of mixed martial arts is right now, it's never been better to test the open market. I think there's the PFL, there's ONE FC, Bellator,
Ryzen,
UFC, Ryzen. There's lots of huge platforms to fight, huge arenas to fight in, and companies that are backed.
Yeah, with some real money that are gonna stick around. It's not like a one-off thing. Yeah, we still have those smaller promotions, those things that are like 1 or 2 events and then they fold, they go under. But before it was kind of like the UFC was it.
Yeah, UFC and Pride,
and then Pride went under, and then there was like Strikeforce and the WEC, and the UFC bought those guys out.
Right.
But there's still, and that kind of absorbed a bunch of guys. I remember when I first started in the UFC, the roster was like 100 and something guys. You know, now
there was a few pay-per-views a year.
Yeah, like 5.
Remember the lead up to those were like so big. When they did happen, it was so big. You knew every single name on the card. You were excited about every fight. Not that you aren't now. It's just there's a fight every weekend.
Yeah. And it's a little bit harder to keep up with. I mean, I was talking to you about a guy who came over from the UFC, Jordan Johnson.
Yeah.
And it took you a minute to remember who he was, you know? And he's an undefeated guy. He was 4-0 in the UFC, quality fighter. But it's just that there's so many fighters now. Yeah. It's hard to keep a track of it. I
think part of that is just how quickly the sport's growing and blowing up and moving forward. You have so many shows and so many more people are doing it now. You know, it's still a small community of fighters on the global scale. If you look at it, everybody knows somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. You don't know more than 2 people removed.
Right. Exactly. But back then it was even smaller. So you knew, if you were a fan of mixed martial arts, you knew everybody and you kind of followed their career closely. And you couldn't wait for them to fight again. You remember their last fight. Now it's kind of like when I see guys fight, I'm like, I don't know. Did he win or lose his last fight? Who did he fight? Because there's so many fights.
Yeah, and you never know. I mean, when you say there's so many fights, we're talking about we came from an era, like when I started in the UFC.
Way before me.
There were 5 events a year.
Yeah.
And then by the time you got to the UFC, there were like about 20 20 to 25
Yeah, I don't
a
even know
year.
how many.
And like now there's like nearly 40.
Yeah.
You know, I like to tell people, I'm like when somebody's like they want to turn on TV, watch some fights. So I want to make this like skit video where we walk into a room and some guys are watching fights, some guys are complaining about fights and whatever, and then I'm like, hey, y'all boys don't know how to appreciate nothing, because back in my day you couldn't turn on Fox or ESPN and watch no fights. You had to go to your friend's house, and your friend had to have a satellite, or you had to wait for a VHS copy of it. You know what a VHS is, boy? You know what I mean? So
Have a white beard.
it's so different now, man. The sport has grown, but the one thing I like everybody, and it's legit, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate that that's the way it is. I recognize that, and I don't have a problem with that in the sense of what I'm saying is the UFC is the pinnacle of the sport. Everybody when they fight, they wanna. If you want to be a world champion, you want to be a world champion of the UFC.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be. That's the most recognized title. That's the most recognized organization, and that's. I don't begrudge any of that, but it's the fans that don't know the sport that think the sport is UFC.
Yeah.
That's the part that like I would definitely. When the sport gets beyond that, that's when I'm like, okay, that's the final level.
Yeah, people still don't understand that.
Nah, they're like, you do UFC?
Right.
Like, I do mixed martial arts in the UFC though.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like that's like saying you do NFL. You do NBA. It's not the same, but whatever. I don't know, man. What we were talking on the ride over here about a bunch of different things. And we were talking. Oh, we met one of your buddies, Tim, who likes to hunt. And then, bow hunt. And then when we got here, and I was talking to Joe, and like her and I feel the same way. Like her and I feel the same way about that. We don't feel the same way about zoos, but like I don't like zoos, but I know like Parker loves animals.
Yeah.
So like I get it in the fact of you love to take her to the zoo. She loves to see the animals, and my thing is like, man, you got these things that can fly, and these things like to run around. They could be everywhere, and you put them in a cage. So like I don't think I think we're in opposition on that, but like I understand your side, but like tell me how you feel about something like that, because we're gonna fight over this.
That's a touchy subject, man. It's hard to go into that. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know you were gonna put me on the spot.
Well, I like the spot.
Yeah.
Spotlights are good, but like it's one of those things. Like I know you're not like you're not cruel to animals,
No,
that
yeah, of
kind
course.
of thing, and
But
that's
also, animals aren't.
property.
Yeah, they're not.
It's weird. Like dogs are like for me, like
They're
dogs
wild
and cats.
animals.
Yeah, but they're wild animals. I'm like, I don't know. I would like to see more of getting in their environment and like safely in their environment and seeing them. But I guess the observation then becomes.
Well, I'm not gonna bring my daughter to Africa to see a giraffe. Most likely, I'm not going to. Like where else can? But I can go down the street here in Louisiana and to the zoo and see a giraffe.
We could also drive up the street and go to that gas station and see that tiger.
Oh yeah. Right before Baton Rouge.
See, that's the thing that's crazy to me. Like, I don't appreciate.
They protested
zoos
that recently.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that because like, okay, zoos, I kind of get it, but like something like that,
he has no room at all. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a tiger inside this gas
At a gas
station. At a
station.
gas station, and I'm like, what happens if that tiger just happens to get out while people are getting gas?
Yeah.
Like that tiger already hates people now.
I think the big protest was it was unhealthy. He had no room to really exercise.
Yep.
He was really overweight. He's just
Yeah.
stuck in there, and people are just in and all hours of the night filling their tank up because it's a very high traveled interstate.
Yeah, and
filling their tank up and taking pictures of him. He's just like, I guess that's kind of a torture.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, like something like that. Like that, I'm definitely,
cool.
I'm 100% against.
Yeah, me too.
But it's whatever. Anyway, we'll get off of that subject because I know that's kind of touchy, man. So you're here in Louisiana now. You're going. We won't talk about a bunch of fight stuff because like that's every day, right? But this is a big deal. You got yourself a belt. That's the only lightweight belt
Like
of
that.
the new belts.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the
So
one.
you got a fight coming up in September to unify that with Khabib Nurmagomedov, like undefeated and
I mean, only lost a few rounds.
ever,
Yeah.
ever, like what, like two, and maybe one was against Iaquinta,
Yeah.
or maybe it's only one round. You know,
Well, a lot of people think Gleason Tebow won some rounds.
yeah,
And,
in their fight,
yeah.
it was a 3-rounder. So
A lot of people are saying I need a rewatch. I'm gonna start breaking footage down, and my team's gonna start breaking footage down here in the next couple weeks when I get to camp. But people were saying Connor won the first or second round maybe.
yeah,
See, I don't even. I have to go back and watch.
yeah, I gotta watch that. I
Maybe
don't
the second
remember
round
that.
people were saying Connor might have won.
I don't remember Connor winning a round. I like all I remember is Khabib being on top of him.
Yeah, but I think there were some scrambles where he stuffed some shots.
Yeah,
But I mean, that doesn't win you a round. But,
right.
yeah.
But I guess like you like when you look at style wise and then who it is,
Yeah.
like everybody not everybody, but a lot of people want Conor to win everything.
Yeah, of course.
And then the people who don't even know the sport, they think Conor McGregor is the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah. But I'll be unifying those belts, and my daughter loves the belt, and I have to bring it home, man. I have to do it. They're dependent on me. I'm dependent on me. I got to go out there to Abu Dhabi and make this happen, man. Make history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we were talking about that at breakfast, and it's like there's a chance to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's points in your career where, like we were talking for breakfast, you have to have that rival. Not that me and Khabib have a rivalry going on, but you have to have that. Somebody has to have an aura about them throughout your career. Like Fedor had an aura. Anderson had this aura. GSP.
yeah. And they
And
all
BJ Penn at once. The list goes on and on of the greats. But like they were made off of somebody else, like GSP and Hughes. Like I need Khabib to be where he's at in his career at the time that I'm at my peak in my career. I need this. Like this was supposed to happen this way. That's how you become a legend. That's how you stamp your name in the history books. You need that force that looks unstoppable. It's like a Rocky movie. You need that.
It's just like that. It's like those movies where
We need each other to elevate each other's lives.
to elevate each other's lives, but also like the champion is like the bar, right?
Right.
Like John Jones is the bar at light heavyweight, and everybody's is aiming to be there, and it's crazy because like if John Jones doesn't exist, Daniel Cormier is the bar, and Daniel Cormier sets a bar so high that nobody's beating him,
Right.
but John, right? And then John is also the bar, and he's been out for so long, but he comes back and he's still the bar. That's
But
crazy.
They're making each other better.
Yes,
They're
And
leveling each other up.
That's what I like about this fight with Khabib, because like we were talking before about your growth, right, as a fighter.
Yeah.
We talked about it, from featherweight and then moving up, and then through you get on good runs, and then like this is mixed martial arts. There's only one guy at that level who's undefeated, and that's the guy you get. But you came back off of all of these losses, and you constantly improve. And then after the Michael Johnson fight, there's you still learn and still improved, but you didn't take a loss. You didn't suffer a loss like with the fight with Eddie. You didn't suffer a loss, but there was a lesson to be learned, and your style changed. Not so much so that you look like a different fighter, but so much so that you can see the improvement in the fighter that you were to the fighter that you are now. And what I'm talking about is like Daya Davis, your boxing coach, Mike Brown. We've all talked about it before. Like your aggression has gotten you in trouble sometimes in the past, and now that killer instinct has kind of been refined and fine-tuned, and it's like now when you hurt somebody, you don't necessarily just go balls to the wall and risk, just go all offense and their defense goes to shit. Like now, like you press the action, you press what got you there.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like the flip side of Masvidal, because George will put somebody in trouble, and then he just stays kind of where he was to put him in trouble. He doesn't press what puts him in trouble all the time, but he did it with Cowboy,
And he finished him.
And he finished him. And but like in the past, like Cody Garbrandt, I think has some of that same mentality that you have, that killer instinct where when you see somebody's hurt, it's like a shark and you just go after him, but then sometimes he runs into trouble. But also when Cody gets hurt, like he's in survival mode and he's a dangerous guy, but he just goes after you too.
It's all fight, no flight.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There's like he's like I'm gonna win or I'm gonna die.
Right.
You know,
one of us is gonna fall.
Yeah.
Plant your feet. Start throwing punches. Somebody's going down.
Yeah.
But when you do that, it's a coin toss every time.
Especially at this level, like it's not a coin toss when you're starting out. Especially when you have the skill set that you guys have, you know. But
when everybody you fight's the best in the world.
Yeah. Then it becomes, you know, then you're gambling.
Yeah.
You know, versus playing the odds, and that's hard to teach somebody who that's who they are at their core. You know,
it's hard to break yourself from that, man.
Yeah,
you know,
like so that's the thing. Like Mike Daya, and we haven't trained together so much in the past year or two that like I can give you strategic advice in the gym and things like that. But we've talked about it, and we can give you the information, but you have to apply it, and you have to apply it in the moment. Right. That's when it's the most practical and the most effective, is in that moment. When you see that, it's like, so how is that now? Because you don't jump on those things like you did and abandon a defense and just go all offense. You're still very practical and tactical. So like what's that mindset now when you see somebody hurt, but you know, okay, I don't want to let this become a gambling thing.
It's tough. It's a balance. It's a balancing act that I'm still trying to, you know, I don't know if I'll ever fully have it down. It's a journey and a quest that I'm trying to learn how to do. I think that's just how I'm wired. When I see red, when I see a guy hurt, I try to finish him. And that's a good thing to have, but it can also get you in trouble as well. I'm just trying to be defensively responsible. That's a word. And me and Daya use. And just be responsible for the position I'm putting myself in. You know, if I'm trying to hurt somebody and get them out of there, I still need to be looking out for myself. You know, the fight's not over. It's tough to explain, but it's something I'm growing on and learning on every fight. And I think I've shown in the past fights, like we were talking, you said the Gaethje fight, when I had him hurt, I still tried to finish him, but you can tell I was more cautious. It wasn't complete, get him out of there. It was touch, kind of watch my own safety, and then get him out of there. And I think I've shown that more and more throughout the last couple fights. And this next fight is going to be my 41st mixed martial arts fight, so I'm hoping to have it even more dialed in than ever. But, man, I'm excited about it. But I promise you, if Khabib wobbles, I'm going in to hurt him and finish him, you know.
40 MMA fights. And when you started, there was like, you know, of course, you started in small shows. Also, the kid that came up here in Lafayette, like, this town loves you, dog.
Man,
this town loves you. They gave you the key to the city and everything. That means you can go anywhere at any time.
Yeah, right? I'll open the door for DC if he wants to visit, whatever.
Because this is your town, right?
Yeah, you know.
How you gonna be the king if you don't live there?
Right. He's up in wine country, man.
Yeah.
I'm right here on the bayou. This is my people.
I like it, but like, because of that, you know, you've been able to get you and Joe and Parker set up. Like, you guys have, your future looks bright, you know. Right now it looks great. And coming up from having nothing, and you just had a trip to a very beautiful place.
The Bahamas?
The Bahamas. Tell me about that, man, because like, that's where I'm from, and we talked about it a couple times.
We've been wanting to go. Me and Jolie been wanting to go, and I know you've offered a bunch of trips to go with you when you go visit family, but it just never worked out. But we were in this last training camp getting ready for Max Holloway, and a few weeks before the fight, we were just like, let's just book a trip. You know, whatever's going to happen in Atlanta, I'm going to go out there, give it my all, but we're going to go to the Bahamas and enjoy a few days, just us. You know, it's been a lot of work, a lot of pedal to the metal. We haven't been relaxing a lot in our life. With the nonprofit, with fighting, with raising a daughter, it's just been go, go, go. You know, we haven't had and it was only for 3 days, but it was a nice reset. You know, after a long training camp, winning the interim title, me and my wife got to go to the Bahamas and just kick our feet up for 3 days and do nothing, do whatever we wanted. Didn't have to be anywhere, didn't have to schedule. You know, Our daughter was with family back here in Louisiana. That was the first time we were both away from her like that.
Yeah.
And
For fun, not for work.
yeah. It was good, refreshing, man. I feel like we just hit the reset button.
What'd you do there?
My wife swam with dolphins. I paddle boarded. Went on this huge ocean tricycle. The water's it's got these big paddles instead of wheels.
Water bike.
Yeah, listen to some music on the beach. We just got to feel like, not that we're that old, but we got to feel like kids again. It just felt like, and I just came off the winning the belt, so I was on top of the world, Yeah, it was an incredible experience, man.
You ever walk around with that thing naked? I'm always I would I'm not gonna do that. I probably did that with your belt last night.
Don't do that.
Nah,
don't do that.
You find a pube in the back of it.
Dude, it's crazy, man. Waking up, my daughter, I don't know if she understands how much it means to me, but I can tell she appreciates it because she knows that I'm proud of it. It's a weird connection that we have and she has with the belt, with me bringing it home. But man, it's just amazing to all the years to focus on a goal and focus on putting in the work to maybe having a chance to make it happen, and then waking up every day and having this in my house is such a huge accomplishment to me. It means a lot. It means it. And that being said, I know there's still such a long journey to go, and September 7th is another chapter of this, and I'm excited, man. I'm just excited for the future.
I like that video you had on your Instagram. I think it was on your wall, not on your story, where you posted when you came home with that, and Parker is like.
I just reposted a week ago.
Yeah, that's what it is. And she was looking at you. She's like, "Oh no, Dad." She was all sad. Bobos. Yeah. You go where?
My whole face is busted up.
Your whole face.
She's like, oh.
She's like, that's crazy though. She's 2, right?
She knows what I do though. She knows what I do for a living.
So
she knows I punch.
She ever been in the gym?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's watched you spar. Stuff like that.
She's watched me train. She doesn't like to watch me train though. And it wasn't violent. It was just like a wrestling practice. But she doesn't like to watch me tussle and do that. She can watch it on TV. She understands I do that for a living.
Daddy's working.
But she didn't like to see it live.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's funny. Because like my son, he was a little older than her at the time. But I was down in Florida, and this is his first time there. And Mike and I were sparring, and he loves to talk to me. So and he's used to getting a response out of me. So Mike and I are moving around in the old gym when the ring was up.
Yep.
And Mike and I are sparring, and he's like, Daddy, are you fighting? And I was like, I didn't answer. He's, no, Daddy, are you fighting? I was like, no, buddy, no. So we're moving around, and Mike's trying to hit me. Mike's not, Mike. Mike takes every advantage he can, right?
Oh, so, back then?
Yeah.
He'll boot you in the chest with his wrestling
with his shoes on. Yeah. Right? But I was like, no, buddy. He goes, he's your friend? He's like, yeah. So you just practicing? Yeah, so like he gets it and he got it, but I wonder if that's a gender thing and a little boy sees fighting and it's like, it's not so bad versus a little girl. She's like, I don't want to see that. I know that's Daddy working, but I don't want to see that.
The other day she told me, she said, one day I'm going to get strong, get big, and I'm going to punch. She said that in front of my wife, and my wife's like, no, you're not going to fight. You're not going to punch. That's what she calls it, punch.
You had asked her, what's Daddy doing? She goes, punch.
Yeah.
And then she just leave me alone. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm doing something
She knows
else.
I got the belt by punch. That's how I brought it home from punching. It's pretty cute, man, to see her little wheel spinning and see her thinking about stuff like that.
Yeah. No, Parker is awesome, man. I remember before she started walking.
That's another thing I think fatherhood has taught me, because fighting, you learn a lot on the job. You learn a lot fighting, taking your knocks and saying, I don't want to do that again, or I don't want to make that mistake again, whatever it is. But as a whole, as a person, being a father teaches you patience, and I think that's transferred over to my fighting career. The patience from being a father, I really do.
Yeah. Like you kind of learn some resolve. You learn, definitely that patience.
Patience, man.
Because it's easy to have. It's not easy, but it's easier to have patience for someone you love. And it's even a bit easier as long as you're focused, as long as you can reflect or really pay attention to what the situation is, to have patience for someone you love and understand that this is new for them.
Yeah.
This whole life thing is new for them. They don't like there's learning that has to be done, and you have to teach them that. And
You grow through doing that.
yeah. I've been here for not even 24 hours yet, but I've heard a lot of, and not like threats, but I've heard a lot of warnings.
Oh, that's threats.
I've heard a lot
of bark,
warning.
not a lot of bites.
Yeah, but I've seen no bite.
Yeah.
But like, it's weird because,
Dude, that's my whole life for the last 2 years. Is don't stop, sit, hey, don't do it again. No, I'm telling you, don't do it again. Don't do this. Don't do this. It's like just warning her.
Parker, eat your food.
Don't.
Like,
You're gonna fall. Stop. Get down from there. Eat your food. No, I'm gonna take you to the doctor if you don't eat.
and then, but like, it's like the first time.
Threats and threats.
The first time, a lot of times, the first time it's not enough. It's like, no, she's still gonna do it. She's still gonna do it. And then you get a little more stern, and it's like you really gonna do it, and then she changes.
Yeah.
It's funny, but like I've yet to see any of those threats be carried out.
The new thing is the accounting. Like I'll tell her don't. She doesn't listen. I'll say don't do it. She'll still not listen to me. I'll go 1, 2, 3, and when she hears the numbers, it's like she's scrambling to do whatever I'm telling her to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna do something. Like the numbers. I don't know. It works. The counting method works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Probably because she knows that at a certain point in time, when you get to that,
She's never got to 5 or whatever. I don't even know how. I might count to 100. All the warnings I give her. I've never got to whatever number, but she just thinks something's gonna happen. 1, 2, 3. She'll do whatever I tell her.
So what do you do when she figures that out? When she figures out that there's nothing at the end of that.
Hopefully, by the time she figures that out, we can actually have a full conversation because she's only about to be 3. We talk, but she's still kind of, doesn't understand everything. But by the time she realizes there's nothing at the end of that count, maybe she's old enough to we can talk it out.
Or maybe she's old enough then for not necessarily there to be a physical punishment, but something to be taken away that she,
Yeah.
'Cause, that's one thing though. There's been those things where it's like she wants this, she wants to do this, and it's like, nope, you can't do that. Or if you keep acting this way, like that's going to get taken away. So there's still consequences,
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like I have my daughter's 25, my son's 16. I've spanked both my kids one time in their life.
Yeah.
And yeah, like spanking.
I think my daughter's still too young. I don't want to,
Yeah, and you may never have to. You know what I mean? But yeah, like that's one thing I've learned over time, and like I think I learned that from my mom, not through being taught it, but through experiencing it. Is like I don't think I was ever spanked or punished from my mom because she was mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the thing, man. Don't hit your kids because you're angry or frustrated. I think that's a big deal.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about that. Like I'm thinking about that, and then I'm like, because I don't know. I'm still young enough. I might do that again. I might be a dad another time. But it's possible, right?
I mean, it's definitely not impossible.
It's not impossible, and I like to practice. So. It's very possible. I came to Houston. So Houston is like we were talking about that earlier, 3.5 hours away with no traffic. But like I had to come up here, man. I had to come see you. I had to. It's weird. The things like you used to come to Austin when I was in Austin, and that's from here. That's probably like 6 hours.
Yeah, 6.
You used to come to Austin and train.
I would stay a few days at a time. We'd get some work in.
Yeah, like this one, I came for the day. But I miss when I'm in Texas. I gotta come here, man. I miss coming up, but I also got to get you to Houston and train with Took and those guys.
Danger's out there too. He lives in the Woodlands.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to link up with him when I get back. You should
reach out to him. He's up there.
I will.
He's actually starting a camp. He's fighting in August, I think, or he's probably in camp.
I'm gonna reach out to Danger as soon as I get back to Houston.
Yeah, do that.
I haven't seen him in a long time. What else are you doing while you're here in Louisiana?
Not much, dude. I'm leaving in 2 days. I just got to visit family. I was home for 2 months, in and out, traveling for press conferences or business stuff here and there. But I've been home for 2 months, just enjoying my home, enjoying my daughter around family, because they come with me to training camp for 8 or 10 weeks, however long ago. So having them around family, cousins, uncles, spending that time with my daughter is important. It was part of the reason we moved back to Louisiana, because I didn't want to take that from my daughter's childhood.
Yeah, raise her around family.
Yeah.
That's a big deal,
because fighting
man.
is such a selfish sport, and I didn't want to take that from a young girl, because we have no family at all in Florida.
Yeah.
And I wanted her to be around her family.
You think Mike's feelings are going to be hurt when you say we don't have any family in Florida? Nah, Mike is a good dude. Though,
Yeah,
for real. Family. That's the thing, man. Like moving from the Bahamas and moving here, I had some family in Texas, but and then through fighting, I was on my own. Where my my family didn't abandon me because of fighting. They weren't really big fans of the sport, especially for the era that I was fighting in. Yeah. But they still love me. They didn't abandon me. But also the fact that the sport was so small, I had to go away from where they were to get better at doing it. And as I get older, and especially now that I'm done, I go back home to the Bahamas. I didn't go home. There were times when I didn't go home for like 4, 5, 6, 7 years at a time. And now I go home and I want to do that more often. But you get to come and go, and now you're back here permanently. You so back here. You get the key.
Got the key
to
the streets.
The key to the city. What does that mean? You can go anywhere at any point in time. You can go into a Menchie's Donuts at 2 a.m. and just get donuts.
I haven't tried yet, but we'll see. It's a skeleton key. It unlocks any door.
Any door in the city. Man, that's you love this place and you do a lot of stuff for Lafayette, your Good Fight Foundation and the things that you do with that. Tell me, what prompted the city? Was it because you won the belt? Was it because of what you do here? Is it because you're from here and you're big name? What's the reason the city gave you the key?
I think the way I was representing the state and the city of Lafayette, Louisiana, on a global scale, bringing awareness to causes through my nonprofit, The Good Fight. Winning the belt didn't hurt it for sure. That kind of pushed me over the edge in making this thing happen with getting the key. But we've done a lot of stuff around Lafayette, and I think that's what got the most notoriety from the mayor and everybody else on the board to even think about giving me a key. It's the charitable things I was doing, and then me winning the belt. I guess they just decided it was time to reward me and show some respect and honor me with the key. So that's a huge accomplishment. I don't know anybody else who's got a key to the city.
I don't know any. You hear about people getting the key to the city. The first time I heard about that, we were talking about this, I think last night. I heard about that on cartoons as a kid,
right?
And then throughout my life, I remember hearing this guy got the key to the city. This guy got the key to the city, but maybe that's been 10 occasions in my life that I ever heard that, and I'm 42.
Right?
That's not something that a lot of people get, and for it to be your hometown, a lot of times too, it's a guy who moved to another place, and they're dedicated to where they are now and the environment and the people there. But this is where you were born and raised. This is where you go back and fight for them. You talk about things this is where you were born and raised. This is where you got in trouble as a kid. This is where you went to juvie. This is where you changed. This is where everything was. And you're still you're still here and you're doing things for the people here, for the youth here. And why do you love this city?
I don't know, man. It's who I am. It's helped mold me into the person I am now. Just loyal to the soil here. I appreciate the people. I like the culture. I like how much they support local. Lafayette, Louisiana supports Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah.
They want to see people make it. They want to see people do well. They want to buy local. It's a support system here that's different than anywhere else. I've been all over, and I always knew I was going to come back here. Even before my daughter even before my wife was pregnant, we knew at the end of my fighting career we would move back and live in Lafayette, Louisiana. And then when my daughter was born, once we hit about 5, 6 months old, we knew it was time to bring her back. So it just kind of rushed the process. I was going to do my whole fighting career and retire, still living in South Florida, but I'm just happy the way everything worked out. That I got to come back earlier, and that it's all working out. It keeps it fresh. I get to come here when I'm not in camp, go there when I'm in camp. Nothing gets stale. If you're in one place too long, it kind of gets stale. Training camp's new every time I go because I haven't been there in a couple months. And after a fight, after a long training camp, I come back here. It's still fresh because I just spent 10 weeks in South Florida. So it's like a fun balance to live this way.
This town, I feel like it could be different. In that, like when I moved to Austin, right? I was in Florida. I moved to Austin, and there was like myself and Tim Kennedy, and he's a 185 pounder, different style, very big, really strong. There were very, very few MMA guys that were any good, if at all. It wasn't like Houston,
Yeah.
And then you moved to Florida, and you came to visit me in Austin, and we wrestled then, and I was like this is where I have the biggest advantage against this kid, because we were kickboxing, and it was like, yeah, this is good, this is competitive, but man, this kid is good. So like I'm lazy and I'm kind of smart, so I was like, well, I'll take him down. Let me try taking him down. I take him down. I was like, oh, wrestling is where this jiu-jitsu is good, but like being on top, I was comfortable that very first go that we had. And then we trained. I saw you working. You were constantly trying to get better. Then you went to Florida, and then I came down there, and I could see your skill set get better. And then I came back, and then your skill set got better. For me, the gap between where we were at that time started to close and close and close and close. For you being here, you have you got Eric, you got Tim Crater, you got a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Like when you go back to Florida, like you're still just as sharp. There's not like a gap closing on you because of the people you have here. Is that how it is?
Yeah, I get to bring stuff here from there and then practice it and drill it here. And also it's a different pace here. I get to focus on other things that I don't focus when I'm in camp, like my jiu-jitsu, small details. When I'm in camp, I'm preparing for a fight. I'm focused on fighting. I'm still working my jiu-jitsu and working wrestling and working boxing, but when I come here, I can go down different avenues of those aspects of fighting. Like I can spend 2 weeks on just boxing if I want. I can spend 2 weeks on just working on my jiu-jitsu and then try to put it all together when I go back to South Florida. It just keeps it keeps everything fresh that way as well. Makes it fun. It gives me different things and different people to work on stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. I believe that was what one of my problems was, and then a lot of people don't want to leave their hometown and go to a camp, but sometimes you need that. You need, like, the old saying, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Or steel sharpens steel. You gotta be around killers to
For sure.
to get sharper and get better and
that's
stay
why
at that level.
That's why I go there for training camps.
Yeah,
I need to be around that camaraderie.
But also, like, to be able to come home and, like you said, isolate different parts of the game and get better at it. But I don't know. I think especially at this point, you have a good IQ for integrating, for meshing all the different pieces of MMA to make your MMA game. So I think that's cool. I know we got to watch the clock too. So what are we on the clock right now? Are we good?
It's time, actually.
Okay. Well, this is not going to be a one-off thing. Because like I said, this is Sup Fam. So I got to get my family in on this, man.
That's what's up, man.
And I'm the Thugjitsu grandpa, and you are the first Thugjitsu world champion.
My man.
So we got stuff that's got to happen, but I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me and have some conversation. Got a little bit of fight stuff, a little bit of life stuff.
Right.
But we're gonna do this again, and it's gonna get better and better every time.
Got to.
All right, DP.
My man.
Thank you, man. That is episode 1 of Sup Fam. And my man, the Diamond, was in here with us. So we'll do this again soon, guys. And we'll be bringing you guys I'm bringing you content with other fighters, with rappers, with whatever. Anybody I know, actors, lawyers, people who don't even, just people with stories and fun things to talk about. So that's about it, man. We're going to be out. And I'm gonna give you guys the corny ass outro music until I decide on what I really want to use.
Get him with it.